Freeze your scrolling for a second and picture this. You sit down, hit play, and your TV feels different. Not just new box different. Cleaner motion, richer color, clearer voices, faster everything. The question is, does the Apple TV 2025 finally deliver that feeling over the 2022 model, or is it the same show with a new thumbnail? If you're shopping, upgrading, or just wondering if you should skip it and save your cash, stay with me. By the end, you'll have a 30-second, zero-doubt answer you can act on today, plus one picture setting inside Apple TV that instantly makes your TV look more expensive without buying anything. Let's set the ground rules. No fluff, no fanboying. We're going to talk about what you can actually see, hear, and feel in your living room. On a normal weeknight, with your normal apps, your normal internet, your normal family asking who has the remote. I'll compare the 2025 Apple TV to the 2022 Apple TV 4K, what changed, what didn't, and what secretly matters more than any spec sheet. If you care about sports, movies, gaming, or home automation, listen closely. I'll call out exactly where the difference shows up in real life. Quick sanity check. Why are you thinking about upgrading? Be honest with yourself. Is it picture quality? Speed? Audio clarity? A better remote? Gaming? Future-proofing your smart home? Keep that reason in your head. I'm going to answer it directly. And hang on for a minute, because in just a bit, I'll give you the one Apple TV setting that makes HDR look the way it's supposed to. People skip this and then think they need new hardware. They don't. Here's the baseline everyone forgets. The 2022 Apple TV 4K is already excellent. It streams in 4K with Dolby Vision and HDR10+, supports Dolby Atmos, it's snappy thanks to the A15 Bionic, it's whisper quiet and tiny, and the USB-C Siri remote is solid. It runs tvOS, so it's getting updates that actually matter. Multiview for sports, FaceTime on your TV with your iPhone as the camera, better dialogue processing for voices, new screensavers, and smarter subtitles. In other words, a ton of the new features you've seen in headlines over the last couple years, your 2022 box already does them. That's important. So what's Apple TV 2025? Depending on when you're listening, you might see a 2025 refresh with the same design, but a newer chip and radios, or a bigger jump with meaningful new capabilities. I'll walk you through both scenarios. The question isn't what's the newest thing. The question is, what changes the experience on your couch? Let's talk visible difference first, what your eyes care about. There are 3 video upgrades that would make 2025 a real worth-it step over 2022. First, smoother motion. If Apple enabled true 120 Hz output with proper frame matching or VRR for games, you'd see it during fast pans, sports, and interactive stuff. Most movies are 24 frames per second, so 120 Hz can cleanly multiply that without judder. If you watch a lot of NBA, NHL, Formula 1, or you're sensitive to motion, that matters. If the 2025 model doesn't actually output 120 Hz for your content, or your TV doesn't support it, you won't see a difference here. Second, smarter compression. If Apple added native AV1 hardware decoding in 2025, that means YouTube, Netflix, and other services can push higher quality at the same bandwidth. Translation: fewer artifacts in dark scenes, cleaner edges, better streams on the same internet you already have. If it's there, you benefit passively. No settings, just better picture when those apps use it. If it's not there, no meaningful change versus 2022 for streaming quality. Third, projector people and cinephiles. If your setup uses a 21.9 screen, tvOS updates have been leaning into better aspect ratio handling. The 2022 box benefits from those software improvements already, but if 2025 adds tighter 21.9 support or more flexible frame matching, it's a niche win. If you're on a standard 16.9 TV, this doesn't move the needle. Now, audio. Can you hear a difference from your couch? If you're using TV speakers, probably not. If you have a soundbar or AVR that supports Dolby Atmos, both 2022 and 2025 will do Atmos beautifully. Where a 2025 model could help is smarter dialogue processing and eARC stability. If Apple refined eARC pass-through or made enhanced dialogue clearer when paired with HomePods, you'll notice it in noisy living rooms. Voices pop, explosions still hit, late-night watching is easier. But most of that is already available on the 2022 box via software updates, not hardware. Unless 2025 brings a new audio trick your setup specifically supports, audio alone usually isn't the reason to upgrade. Speed. The 2022 model is already fast. App launches, switching between apps, scrubbing through timelines, it's quick. A newer chip in 2025 might shave a second here or there and keep things smooth longer as apps get heavier over the next few years. But today, the difference between fast and fast plus does not transform Netflix or Disney Plus. Where you'd notice a newer chip is in gaming, heavier apps, and future codecs like AV1. If your current box feels sluggish, that's one thing. If it feels fine, a speed bump won't change your life. Networking. The 2022 model supports Wi-Fi 6. The Ethernet version adds a hardwired port and thread for smart home gear. If 2025 brings Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7, that matters only if your router and environment can actually use it. Think congested apartments, multi-story homes, or streaming games over your network with Steam Link. If your Apple TV is hardwired or your Wi-Fi is already solid, you won't notice. For live sports in 4K, a stable connection is everything. Ethernet still wins. If your household watches a lot of live 4K sports and you have buffering, the Ethernet model, 2022 or 2025, solves that better than a new Wi-Fi logo. Smart Home. The 2022 Ethernet model can act as a thread border router, which is a big deal if you're building a Matter Thread smart home. If the 2025 model brings thread to all configurations or improves Matter reliability, that could be worth it for smart home people. If you don't care about smart lights, locks, and sensors, you won't feel this at all. The remote. If Apple gives the 2025 remote backlit buttons, or a way to find it when it disappears into the couch, that's a quality of life upgrade you feel daily. If it's the same remote with USB-C, then it's functionally the same experience as 2022. Don't underestimate this. Most families interact with the remote more than the specs. Backlight and Find My Remote are the two remote features that actually save frustration. A built-in camera for FaceTime. If Apple ever ships an Apple TV with a camera, that is an obvious difference for anyone who wants big screen video calls. No more propping your iPhone on a candle. But right now, your 2022 box already does excellent big screen FaceTime using your iPhone as the camera via continuity camera. For most people, that's good enough. Now, I promised you one picture setting that instantly makes your TV look better. This is for both 2022 and 2025. Go into the Apple TV video settings and set your format to 4K SDR, not HDR. Then turn on Match Dynamic Range and Match Frame Rate. What this does, your Apple TV stops forcing everything into fake HDR at 60 frames, and instead switches only when a movie or show is truly HDR or 24 frames. Colors look correct, skin tones stop glowing, motion looks cinematic when it should, and smooth when it should. Most people never change this, and then they blame their hardware. Do this first. If that single change makes your 2022 box feel new, you already saved yourself a few $100s. Let's make this practical. I'm going to talk to 5 specific types of viewers. If one of these sounds like you, listen for the verdict. You mainly stream movies and shows at night. Netflix, Apple TV Plus, Max, Hulu, Prime Video, Disney Plus. You care about picture quality, and you hate buffering. For you, the 2022 Apple TV 4K is already excellent, especially if you use that SDR default with range frame match turned on. You'll see Dolby Vision or HDR10 Plus kick in when it should. The upgrade from 2022 to 2025 is worth it only if your new TV supports 120 Hz, and Apple actually enables 120 Hz or AV1 decoding in the 2025 model, and you're sensitive to motion or compression. If not, save your money or spend it on a better soundbar or a calibration. You're a sports household. NFL via YouTube TV, NBA, NHL, MLB, MLS Season Pass. You want clean motion and rock-solid streams. 2 things matter more than new hardware: Ethernet and the match frame rate setting. If you can hardwire the Apple TV, do it. If the 2025 model in your cart doesn't add Ethernet over your 2022 configuration, you will not suddenly buffer less. If it adds 120 Hz output and your TV supports it, that's where you might see smoother UIs and menus. But most sports streams today are 60 frames. Verdict: if you can't add Ethernet and your Wi-Fi is congested, a 2025 with better Wi-Fi could help, but a good router or a cable to your existing 2022 might help more for less money. You game. You play Apple Arcade titles, you use a PS5 controller with your Apple TV, and you might stream your PC library to your TV with Steam Link. The 2022 model plays Apple Arcade great, but if 2025 brings a stronger chip plus Wi-Fi 6E7 and maybe 120 Hz or VRR, that can reduce latency and improve consistency for local streaming from your PC. If that's you, The upgrade can be worth it, but only if the new model actually has those features and your TV router can use them. If not, stick with the 2022 and upgrade your network first. You live in Apple's smart home world. You use HomeKit, you have Thread devices, maybe a HomePod or two. If your 2022 Apple TV is the Ethernet model, it already acts as a Thread border router. If your 2025 model adds Thread to all versions or improves reliability, that's nice, but it's not a must upgrade unless you're building out a lot of new devices. A better reason to upgrade is consolidation. If the 2025 model lets you get rid of a separate smart hub or finally adds a reliable feature you've been missing, it might be worth it. Otherwise, you're fine where you are. You hate the remote. If the 2025 model gives you backlit buttons or a way to find it when it's lost, that alone might be worth considering if your household constantly hunts for the remote. If it doesn't, buy a simple glow-in-the-dark remote sleeve or a third-party backlit remote and call it a day. Now, let's talk about what quietly changed since 2022, even if you didn't buy anything. tvOS updates brought Multiview for sports. Watch multiple games at once. FaceTime on your TV using your iPhone as the camera. Shockingly good for families and grandparents. Enhanced dialogue features that make voices clearer. Better subtitle behavior that auto-pops when you mute or rewind. Richer screensavers. And features like Insight for Apple Originals that surface info about actors and music while you watch. These are real quality of life differences. Your 2022 Apple TV already gets them. The reason I'm saying this out loud is because you might think you need the newest box for the newest features. You don't, most of the time. Apple supports their boxes for years. If your 2022 is running the latest tvOS, you already have most of the new stuff. Here's a quick way to find out if your Apple TV, 2022 or 2025, is set up to look its best. 3 checks. 1. The setting I gave you earlier, 4K SDR as default, match range and match frame rate on. 2. If your TV supports Dolby Vision, make sure it's enabled in the TV too. If you see washed out colors in SDR after enabling match, that usually means your TV's HDR mode is being forced all the time. Turn that off on the TV side so SDR looks normal. 3. Check your HDMI input is set to Enhanced or 4K HDR mode on your TV and you're using a certified cable. People blame the box for cable or TV settings. Fix those and most of the My Apple TV looks weird comments disappear. Audio checks. If voices are hard to hear, go to audio settings and try Enhanced Dialogue. If your soundbar supports Dolby Atmos, make sure format is set to auto so Atmos kicks in when available. If late night viewing wakes up the house, try Reduce Loud Sounds, but know it compresses dynamics. You'll get clearer whispers but smaller explosions. If you own HomePods and an Apple TV 4K, set the HomePods as the default audio output. If you have a newer TV and 2022-2025 Apple TV 4K, you can enable eARC and settings to route all your TV's inputs, like a game console, through the Apple TV and out to HomePods. If 2025 improves eARC stability, that's one of those quiet upgrades that feels huge if you use it. Let's touch gaming quickly. On 2022, Apple Arcade titles run nicely. You can pair PlayStation, Xbox, and other Bluetooth controllers. With tvOS updates, Steam Link is available to stream your PC games over your local network to the Apple TV. This is where newer Wi-Fi and Ethernet stability matter more than raw chip speed. If 2025 adds Wi-Fi 6E7 and your router supports it, plus a cleaner pipeline for 120Hz or VRR, you can get smoother, lower latency streaming inside your house. If it doesn't, the 2022 experience is already solid at 60 frames with a good network. Don't chase a new box to fix a bad router, price and timing. This is where worth it becomes clear. The 2022 model regularly shows up discounted, and used prices often dip well under what you'll pay for a brand new 2025. If your 2025 cart price is full MSRP and the feature list looks like a mild refresh, the 2022, especially the Ethernet model, might be the smarter buy. If 2025 shipped with a new remote that solves real pain, a new codec like AV1, or 120Hz output your TV can actually use, that's where paying for new makes sense. If neither of those apply, your best move might be to keep the 2022 for another year and spend on things that raise the ceiling. A calibrated picture mode on your TV, a better soundbar, a decent router, or just running Ethernet to your living room. Speaking of Ethernet, if you own the 64GB 2022 Wi-Fi only model and you've been suffering from occasional buffering or home automation glitches, consider this. Upgrading to any Apple TV with Ethernet and Thread could make your daily experience feel dramatically better than a minor CPU bump. Your shows start instantly, sports don't stutter, and your smart devices behave. That's the kind of difference you feel every single day. Let's bust a few myths that cost people money. Myth 1. New chip equals better picture. Not for streaming. Your TV and the streaming service do the heavy lifting. A new chip helps with decoding and future-proofing, not magic picture quality overnight. Myth 2. Always leave it in 4K HDR. No, that forces fake HDR and makes SDR look weird. Use SDR default and match range, dark frame. Myth 3. My Apple TV is slow, I need to upgrade. Maybe. Or you just need to restart occasionally, clear unused apps, or update tvOS. The 2022 model is fast. If it suddenly feels sluggish, a fresh start may fix it. Myth 4. All Wi-Fi is the same. Not even close. 4K Sports, Steam Link, and high bitrate Atmos need clean, stable bandwidth. A good router placement or Ethernet cable often beats a new box. Now I want to give you 3 quick mini wins you can try right after this. First, color balancing. Apple TV can use your iPhone to color balance the output. It won't replace a pro calibration, but it can clean up a too blue or too warm image in minutes. Second, subtitles. Turn on the setting that shows subtitles automatically when you mute or rewind. It's small, but it makes late-night watching less frustrating. Third, Multiview for sports. If you've never tried it on the 2022 Apple TV, do it. Watching 2 games at once while tracking scores feels like you upgraded your entire TV setup for free. Where does this leave us with the 2025 versus 2022 decision? It comes down to whether the 2025 model in front of you has a real-world feature you'll use weekly that the 2022 simply can't do. That could be 120 Hz output you'll actually use on a 120 Hz TV. It could be AV1 decoding that makes your YouTube look cleaner. It could be a backlit findable remote that fixes your day-to-day. It could be Wi-Fi 6E7 that helps your Steam Link sessions. It could be better eARC stability with HomePods. If you can point to one of those and say, yes, we'll use that every week, then yes, the 2025 is finally worth it over the 2022. If not, the 2022 is still a beast. Keep it, tune it, and revisit when the next truly new capability shows up. Let's also talk about older boxes. If you're on anything before the 2021 Apple TV 4K, upgrading to 2022 or 2025 will feel big. You get faster performance, better HDR handling, Atmos, cleaner UI, and long-term support. In that case, don't overthink it. Get the newest one you can comfortably afford, ideally with Ethernet if you care about reliability or smart home. If you're on the 2021 model, the 2022 was already a nice step. The 2025 is icing, unless it adds those specific features we've been talking about. Before we land this plane, a quick word on streaming apps. The Apple TV box is only part of the chain. Apps like YouTube TV, Netflix, and Prime Video vary in quality stream to stream. Not all 4K is equal. Not all HDR is good HDR. The Apple TV interface is fast and clean, and the box respects your TV settings. But what you see is limited by the app and the stream. That's why that match setting change is such a game changer. It tells the box to get out of the way and send the content as intended, instead of forcing it into a one-size-fits-all mode. A few edge cases that make the decision easier. If you just bought a 120 Hz TV and you're dying to see that buttery UI and possibly smoother sports menus, and the 2025 Apple TV truly supports 120 Hz output you'll use, upgrade. If you live in an apartment with brutal Wi-Fi congestion, and your router supports 6E or 7 and the 2025 Apple TV adds it too, upgrade. If you're deep into Apple Arcade or Stream PC games and latency drives you crazy, the newer chip plus better radios could be worth it. If none of those describe you, your money is safer in your pocket. Let's wrap this with your promised 30-second decision guide. Think about your current Apple TV. Does it feel slow or unreliable? If yes, and you've already tried restarting and updating, the 2025 is worth it. If no, keep going. Does the 2025 model you're looking at deliver a specific weekly use upgrade you can name, 120 Hz you can use, AV1 decoding you'll benefit from, a backlit findable remote, Wi-Fi 6E7 that your router supports, or better eARC behavior you'll use? If yes, upgrade. If no, keep going. Can you add Ethernet to your current 2022 setup, or change the SDR match settings I mentioned? If yes, do that first and reassess. If no, and you're still tempted, wait for a sale or buy the 2022 Ethernet model at a discount. That's it. Before you go, make those free changes. Set your Apple TV to 4K SDR with match dynamic range and match frame rate on. Check your HDMI input mode on the TV, and try enhanced dialogue if voices are muddy. Then watch a favorite scene. If your 2022 suddenly feels like a new box, you just got a 2025 upgrade for free. If you still feel that itch and the 2025 has a feature you'll use every week, pull the trigger with confidence. Here's the honest bottom line. Apple TV is about the experience, not the spec sheet. The 2022 model already nails the basics: fast, clean, accurate, reliable. The 2025 model is worth it when it brings something you can feel, not just something you can read. If it does, enjoy the upgrade. If it doesn't, enjoy the money you didn't spend, and enjoy a better picture tonight with the settings you just fixed.